listening to the METACUBE. All fandoms, all genres, all the time.
Welcome to METACUBE. This is an all fandom podcast. I guess I'll start with our names. I'm Bree. To my left is...
Hi, I'm Sean.
And then...
Hi, I'm Tyler.
I'm Soti.
So we are just a group of 4 friends who love a lot of fandoms across the board and wanted to come on and talk about them. I think we're just going to do like random discussions. We have a few segments that we want to do, which
Segments
I
for
think are
days.
pretty cool. And yeah, so I guess let's just start with like who we are and how we met, because it's just 2 couples just doing the thing. So I guess I'll
We're a bunch of nerds!
Yes, that's
Sounds
a given.
about right.
That's very much a given. I'll start, I guess. I met Tyler first, even though we're not the ones who ended up married, which is a little weird. I met Tyler first. I've known him since I was like 2. Yeah, so we grew up together. Yeah. He was actually, went to school with my older sister, and then he has a sister that was in my grade, so we grew up at each other's houses, hanging out, spending time together. We were also into Pokemon together. We collected Pokemon cards and stuff, so we knew each other then. And then when I got to high school, Tyler and I went to different high schools, and I met Sean at our high school, who is my husband.
Yeah.
I
am that.
We met freshman year, we're friends, then we weren't friends, and then we were friends again, and then we started dating and got married, and it's been pretty cool. We're actually coming up on a year.
I helped.
Which brings me to Seti. I met Seti when we were in college, and where were we? We went to like this festival thing in our town, and Tyler was like, "Come with me, I'm trying to meet this girl."
In the streets.
In the streets. And
We almost got
Tyler
hit by
was
cars.
pursuing Seti, and
I wasn't
I met her there. And then after a while, we became friends, and then we became best friends. And she actually reintroduced me to Sean, who I was like, "Oh, I know him," and that's when we got closer. So
I helped.
That's our whole. That's I guess my story.
Soti likes to believe that she is the primary reason why
I'm
we are
definitely not.
together, but what she's really done is cursed Bree with my existence. Remainder of the days.
I
that we
mean,
are.
she didn't say no.
I didn't say no.
Yes,
So,
but well, she said yes.
yeah.
1 year in,
I'll
she
keep
might
'em.
be reconsidering. Kidding though.
Does anyone else want to add anything?
Yeah,
feel
no,
like
I'll jump in.
Yeah.
So, Soti and I met when, of course, around the same time that Bree and I got reignited. And I said reignited because the passions of our love
Wow.
have,
Wow.
been lit aflame since high school. No, but in all seriousness, I was running a club at the college one time, and all of a sudden, Soti just walks in and, like, takes command of the room, and I'm like, "Who's this? I'm going to say hi." Turns out, like, we became, like, instant friends, which was great.
Pretty
and
much.
then
Yeah,
she
I had
brought...
to finish a fucking art project.
Yeah, she was, like, finishing an art project on my table, and I'm like, just trying to run a group here. I'm trying to run, like, a social club, and you're doing art on my table.
How dare you?
Sure, why not? I don't have rules. I don't make them. I only write them. Yeah, I didn't even write the rules. Meanwhile, she brought Tyler to our, like, meeting place one time, and he was sporting that flannel, and I looked right at him and I said, "Man, you look like a sexy lumberjack."
Accurate.
Obviously, our bromance never ceased from that moment on.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that he definitely looked like he was going to kill me the moment I told him that. So, just so you know, our roots of our friendship are grown in blood. It's fine. It's fine. Anybody else?
Your turn.
Tyler was born a poor black man.
What is that from?
I don't know.
Isn't it a movie or something?
Yeah, it's Morgan
Probably.
Freeman or something.
Yeah, Shawshank.
Oh, is it?
Is it
Shawshank?
I think so.
Was it Shawshank?
Yeah, because Morgan
It's
Freeman's
definitely
like...
not driving Miss Daisy.
No.
He was talking about how basically he was, like, kind of... The system screwed him, essentially. I was born a young black... Or a poor black
man.
Boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's talking about he doesn't really have any prospects other than prison at the point that the movie
But
comes
then
in.
his Shawshank got redeemed. And everybody lived happily ever after. That way we
Now,
didn't spoil.
Well...
proceed.
Don't know what to add here that wasn't already added.
I know, it's like...
He had the same beard.
Why don't you...
that he has
you
now.
mentioned how you met Seti, because I already talked about how we met.
her friend texts me like in the middle of the night one night. It's like, hey, do you like
Yeah.
kids? I haven't talked to this girl in like 3 years.
Alright, first question, what are you, a cop?
Let me
Second question, no.
let me add this. She texted that because I said whoever I date has to like kids because I have younger siblings, and the last douche canoe that I dated hated them and they hated him. So I'm like, this cannot be happening. What I was unaware of is that was the first question she fucking texted. Hey, do you like kids?
And
like
I
no
hadn't talked to
context,
her
nothing.
in
Couple
3
months.
years. Is that? No, it's been years. And so I get this random text at like 11 at night. Hey, do you like kids? And I'm like, why? I mean, sure, but why?
Yeah.
Are you single?
Sure,
Yes,
but
why?
Yeah. Don't set me up with a kid.
You know, that thought was kind of going through my head. It's just like,
Everything
am I
that
going
you
to wind
say,
up on a list here? Like,
everything you say sounds
Wow!
This episode of METACUBE is brought to you by Soti doesn't know how to quietly open hummus.
I wasn't trying to make
Just
it.
go for it. Just
like
do
a
it.
Band-Aid. Like a Band-Aid.
Yeah. God, that is the sexiest noise. Look at that.
Spike!
So, okay, before we finish this truly romantic story about how Tyler isn't a pedophile,
I mean, that should be something that we should
all,
clarify.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean, yeah. We are all working together in a small room with one computer and one microphone.
And a sleeping baby.
Yeah, there's a sleeping child.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all working together in a small room with a baby, and apparently now you've learned there's a little bit of hummus in here too.
Anybody want some?
No,
Actually,
hummus
yeah.
is gross.
Yeah. See.
So I'm getting from this, you guys met through a mutual friend.
Yep.
Well, okay. Yeah. We met
And then
through
she
a mutual
abandoned
friend.
me.
No.
My turn. You wait.
No!
She abandoned me for 2.5 months. And finally, I messaged her a book. And yeah, we met. Went down to the streets. Went to the hookah bar. It was a good time.
Sorry, we're just realizing that we're probably going to hear the crunching of these
Yeah.
pretzels and hummus on the mic.
Okay. Also, clarify, we're sharing a mic right now.
Yep, one mic, one
That'll
baby,
probably
one
be a thing for a while.
Because
Also-
we're poor.
You'll have to deal with our sound quality.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so the whole point is that webs got intertangled and woven into a way that we ended up becoming best friends, marrying each other, not marrying each other in a weird like no, but like
Sister wives.
like no,
We're
like,
not polygamous.
Tyler and Bree didn't get together despite knowing each other longer. It kind of did like a flipperoo kind of thing.
Yeah, it was very
You
weird,
know.
but it was cool. I
Yeah.
mean, at that point, it's like Tyler's my brother, so
That's
growing
weird.
up with someone that long. You know.
Yeah.
But throughout our relationship, we have learned that we're all total nerds.
Absolutely.
Like, the biggest nerds. Like, I am the largest of all four of us, and 85% of my body mass is nerd.
Not the candy.
No, God, no. Like, candy's gross.
It is.
Who?
It's literally crystallized sugar with a candy
Right.
coating.
It's
Wait,
like
what?
child's crystal meth.
Nerds.
Nerds.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking gross.
Sorry. So, we are very opinionated here on this program, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But we each have a list here.
Yeah, so we each made a list of some things we thought you guys should know about us as nerds, and like just so you have a good idea of what kind of nerds we are and what kind of fandoms we'll be bringing to the table initially, because of course you want to talk about the things you already know. Though it seems like all of us are open to learning about other fandoms and other genres and expanding on those things.
Morty.
Also it's a thing that whenever someone burps on this podcast, Sean's going to say Morty.
I've only
Morty
seen, like,
I
alarm.
don't know
Right.
Rick and Morty.
I've
so I
only
don't know
seen
what's
like
happening.
3 full episodes of Rick and Morty, but I just know every time that Rick says something, he usually burps or something. I don't know.
He's a raging alcoholic and he burps every 5 minutes.
Oh, that's
Sure,
fun.
that thing. So anyway, what we'll do is each of us have sort of like a bullet-pointed list on our phones.
Yeah.
Who are we? Where did we grow up? What is our Hogwarts house? Fun fact, you're going to hear a lot of Potter stuff on here. Our very first fandom. What our favorite character is. What our least favorite fandom is. Any type of book, game, TV show, etc. that we'd like to become a fan of. And then a specific universe that we'd like to, explore more. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we want to go out of our way to read or see the actual media, but more the extended universes of these perspective things. So we'll start with my beautiful wife. So, my beautiful wife.
So, like I said before, my name is Bree. I grew up in Maryland, and my Hogwarts house is Ravenclaw. Very proud Ravenclaw. My first fandom was Pokemon. Even though I didn't stick with it, I feel like I was all about it when the anime first came out, and then I kind of just faded out of it. And now I'm learning more about it, and I'm playing the games. I'm playing the games now, so I'm kind of getting back into it. My favorite character of all time is Agent Peggy Carter. I love her. She's badass. But I will say there are plenty of characters that I love. And my least favorite fandom is Twilight. No surprise. I feel like that's general.
I want to spark your suckly blood. Wow, I meant to say sparkly blood, but I want to spark your suckly blood. Is I think what came out of my
I
mouth.
just realized what he said.
Very nice. But yeah, my least favorite is Twilight. I wasn't a fan of it when everyone was telling me to read it. I rebelled by reading Harry Potter, and actually that's when I first truly fell in love with Harry Potter. So I really have strong feelings about it. But I feel like I would be willing to do a reread. It's something I've been thinking about, of actually reading Twilight, because I started the first book and hated it. But I feel like I want to try to read through it to give you an honest opinion now as a fully formed adult, and just to see how I feel about it.
How far did you get in the first book?
20 pages.
Yeah, I would tell you
be
right
reading
now,
it,
the
so.
first chapter is the hardest to get through.
Absolutely.
Because it just sounds like her whining and then
it was terrible.
explaining a
Isn't
lot.
that the entire premise is
Yeah,
just
and then I only heard bad things about it since, so then I was like, I'm not gonna buy. Basically. And I was like,
in
I'm
the
not
morning.
gonna waste my time when I can learn about wizards and shit. So I kind of threw that away. But I do own some of the books, so I think I might give it a try, just so I can, if anything, put it on here and put it out there of how I felt and what my thought process was reading it. It's probably, I'm gonna tell you now, it's probably not gonna end well, because I'm way more of a critical reader now than I was before, so we'll see about that. Anyway, moving on. A book, game, TV show, etc. that I'd like to become a fan of is definitely Game of Thrones. Definitely Tyler and Soti have been why aren't you watching this?
It's partially because we don't have HBO and that's just
That's
expensive.
partially true, but I do have the book, so I think that that's something.
I have HBO Go. I will give you the login later.
Yeah,
the books and show are completely different.
Yes, they're different.
but I do want to read the books too. You know me, I'm gonna fucking try to read the books first. So I think I want to be I want to read the books and watch the show.
Everybody dies, the world burns in flames.
I mean,
end of story.
Gosh,
Sure.
spoilers.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a spoiler.
But yeah, anyway, Game of Thrones is definitely one I want to become a fan of, or at least give a try. And then a universe that I'd like to learn more about, probably the Firefly universe. I love Firefly, and the fact that the government or whatever was just running around terraforming every planet they possibly could intrigues me a lot. So
Spoiler alert.
I would
Housing market.
Well, that's not really a spoiler. That's in the first episode, so that's not my fault. It's fine.
Spoilers for those of you who have never seen the first 5 minutes of Firefly.
If you haven't seen Firefly, watch Firefly. Just do it.
Petition
I don't know
facts.
why you're not. Just do it. Thanks. So yeah. But yeah, that's probably the only one I can think of right now. Soti, it's your turn.
Okay, so my name is Sati. I know it probably sounds like Sophie, but it's not. I also grew up in Maryland, born and raised. My Hogwarts house is Slytherin.
Slytherin, whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop!
Lame.
My
guys are
first
so lame.
fandom, I am not. My first fandom would honestly have to be Star Wars and Sailor Moon.
Nice.
My
Actually,
favorite character.
Sorry to interrupt. I watched Sailor Moon when I was a kid, but I don't remember jack shit. I think that'd be another one I might want to learn.
I remember
A bunch of Japanese
4
schoolgirls
kids
run around in
being a bunch of
miniskirts,
dicks and fucking all of it
becoming
up.
sexist, and it's weird.
Wait. There's a lot.
yeah, I
There's
was gonna
two
say, there
different
was,
views on that show.
We'll discuss
But yeah,
Sailor
so
Moon in
I just wanted
another
to point that out.
time.
So anyway.
but, I do become Sailor Uranus after every time I go to Taco Bell. So.
Anyway.
My favorite character is Sherlock Holmes.
Nice.
Mostly because it's honestly not even because of his powers of deduction. It's literally because nobody actually realizes that he actually cares about people that are close to him, even though he fucking pretends not to.
Now, just to clarify, are you referring to the actual books? Or the
I am
Sherlock show?
referring to the Arthur Conan Doyle books. I'm also referring to the movies, and I'm
Okay.
also referring to the new show with
Okay.
Benedict and Martin. So,
Yeah, so all across
yes,
the board.
all across the board, no matter what rendition of Sherlock Holmes I have read
Morty.
or seen
Morty.
or even heard of, my favorite. I mean,
Okay.
come on, The Great Mouse Detective is based off of him too.
Basil
of Baker Street,
Mouse
right.
Detective Basil.
Right, so the more you know. Anyway, based off of that.
Yeah, no.
Least
I just
favorite
wanted to make
fandom.
sure it was clarified.
Oh yeah, totally. Least favorite fandom. Fuck Twilight. Book, game, TV show, etc. I'd like to become a fan of. I honestly was very intrigued by the whole Tokyo Ghoul storyline.
It seems bloody.
Very, from
Seems
what I've
very
heard.
messy.
I saw like the first episode, maybe the second as well, and it's just all kinds of fuckery in there. It's great. And then another one is Chronicles of Riddick. I saw Pitch Black as a kid, and it was one of my favorite. I think it was actually one of my first Vin Diesel movies I ever saw too, before the whole Fast and Furious stuff
Really?
happened. Yeah. And
Like
at first I was
Vincent
just
Unleaded.
like, why is he bald and why does he have cataracts?
Why is that man bald?
Why is he bald and why does he have cataracts? I don't understand. And then I was a little kid. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
The fact that your brain wasn't, why does he look funny, and was, why is he bald, and why does he have cataracts?
Cataracts.
at,
That's
like,
how I
age
compartmentalize.
6?
9, but yeah, close enough. Anyway, so yeah, I really want to know more about the Chronicles of Riddick and expand on that. Universes. I would honestly have to say more of the Game of Thrones universe, because there are so many different houses
Yeah.
that don't even a good bit of them don't even get touched upon in the actual storyline. And then of course you have before Game of Thrones when they were in
Knights
like
of the
High
Seven
Valyria. Yeah.
Yep, you
So
lost
it's
me.
just it's
You
learn it.
already lost me.
I want to know more about
There's a
Star
throne, there's some
Wars.
games, something about a dragon, and also
Several of them.
It's your boy, Tiny Dude.
Tyrion.
Yeah, Tyrion.
Tiny dude.
Tiny
Tiny Dude Tyrion.
And then I'd like to know more about the Star Wars universe, because that's huge. Like, huge. I want to know more about Attack on Titan, because that's one of my favorite shows.
And the six with the bees and the eagles.
Oh my gosh. And then another whole thing that I've become very, very interested in recently is the Vampire Chronicles in general.
Yeah.
I know we all, or at least some of us, might have grown up watching Interview with the Vampire
Yeah.
or Queen of the Damned with Aaliyah
Yeah.
and Stuart Townsend. But I'm actually currently reading the actual books.
Oh, that's awesome.
And from what I heard for Queen of the Damned, they actually kind of intermixed the Vampire Lestat in with the movie, like that story. But they just named it Queen of the Damned. So I want to see everything that they did that's different, because from what I've kind of peeked at while reading, it looks completely different. Like,
Really?
it doesn't look the same at all. And I want to know what Hollywood fucked up on. So, yeah,
go
they
figure.
tend to do that when it comes from book
We should
to
have an
media.
entire segment
For
called
sure.
What Did Hollywood Do?
Fuck
Oh
up.
my god, for sure.
Oh
Like,
my goodness, yeah. But yeah, so those are all of mine. I'm sure there are more, but that's the short and
That's a
skinny of
good
it.
introduction.
Awesome.
Lur.
Next.
Oh, you're going last?
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to go next?
It doesn't matter.
I
I
don't
was
know
just,
what's
I'm
next.
sorry,
Sorry, I
I'm following
stopped
the
looking.
Google Docs, so
Oh,
I'm like,
am I next? Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Hey guys, I'm next. I mean, I'm Sean. It's pretty nifty, I would say. Maryland is where I'm from. You will hear me reference Chicago a lot. That is where my family is from. Just a forewarning here. Go Cubs, go. Hogwarts House. Most definitely a Slytherin. Slytherin! Woo woo!
lame.
You know what? You're going to have to deal with it, because that is definitely going to be a thing.
Yep.
First fandom for me is most definitely Pokemon. It hooked me the moment that I first started playing. So unlike my wife, consistently from like the moment I picked up Pokemon Red.
Like a
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah.
I will note that I did have, I think, yellow and red, or something like that, at the beginning when I was into it too. So I did attempt to play the games, I just wasn't good at it. So,
Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Favorite character, kind of out of left field, is Krillin from Dragon Ball Z. I love everything about Krillin. He tries so hard, despite being thoroughly outclassed in literally everything he does. He does. He tries so hard. Like, look, man, when you're surrounded by gods and bubblegum monsters, and, you know, you've been impaled...
Bubblegum monsters.
Okay, we all know what Majin Buu
We
is.
all know.
But anyway, when, you know, like, you've been exploded on other planets. Like, your whole life was just gonna be training to be a monk, and things got weird. He's
And then
rolling
you
with a
fucked
lot
an
of punches.
android.
So, like, his karma finally came back to him into some dank Tesla-created sex robots. So, anyway, least favorite fandom. I kind of waffled here. I had put Star Trek down, but I don't want my house burned down. Oh, can't, like, okay, but here's, so let me, I'm getting angry stares, by the way, from Tyler, who thoroughly enjoys Star Trek, but here's the thing. I removed Star Trek, not because of his angry stares, but because I don't hate Star Trek. I'm not a fan of Star Trek. What I do hate, however, is Digimon. Cannot stand it. The digital world, I don't care.
Digimon.
It's
digital
stupid.
monsters.
Everyone who says Mega Evolution is just Digimon, like, leading into Pokemon, go away, okay? Get your, like, Agumon and your nonsense out. The only things that need to be talking are legendary Pokemon and Meowth, okay? That's all you need. I don't need to be like, hey, Pikachu, how was your day? Shut up, I'm being a detective now. Which actually is a thing. Does. But it's fine. It's fine. That's fine. But Digimon sucks. So, anyway, book, game, TV show, etc. that I'd like to become a fan of. Steven Universe. I see a lot of great things about it. The universe is to learn more about. Firefly. It seems pretty nifty. The Star Wars Extended Universe. Obviously, I love Star Wars a lot more than Star Trek. I would love to know more about the specific Star Wars Extended Universe. It's a good thing these aren't filmed, because that is rude. I also want to jump into more animes. I used to be, like, real into anime, but I'm not as much anymore. So, that's me. That's who I am.
Passing it on to Tyler.
Yeah, let's get it to Tyler, finally.
Alright, so, my name's Tyler, if you haven't guessed. I'm from Maryland as well. We're all four from Maryland. My Hogwarts house is Ravenclaw, the smartest.
Yes, absolutely.
The cleverest.
Unlimited power.
The boldest.
The most amazing. The best skating
Ravenclaw.
collection.
See, it doesn't ring. There's,
No,
we sound better.
you're lame. We don't have to do that because we're smarter than you. The
I
best-
beg to differ.
We have the best
Excuse
all
me.
the things.
Slytherin
Anyways,
ends at the top.
it's Tyler's turn.
This
My
last
first
time
fandom.
Ravenclaw was in the top.
It's Tyler's turn.
My first fandom was Star Trek.
Look, man, I like Spock, alright? He's cool. He's a cool guy.
No, actually, I can't stand the original Star Trek.
Yeah, well, that...
Shatner pisses me off.
Oh, well, then, you and I will get along fine.
But also, Star Trek was definitely a thing when I was younger. My favorite character is actually Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
Really?
My axe!
I respect the fact he uses an axe. I love his beard, and he's a dwarf. So my least favorite fandom is actually more like a genre of fandoms. I don't really like anything that panders to like young teenagers. So definitely like Twilight falls into that.
Yeah, or like,
But Divergent falls into that. Just any of those where they take something that could be a good story and they...
So, how do you feel about the Hunger Games? Because I know you read it.
The Hunger Games is probably the only exception to that.
Okay.
Because the Hunger Games, there was a solid story.
Right.
Like, yeah, you had the little bromance BS going on between PETA, what's your name? PETA, what's your nuts? But it wasn't centered around that.
Right.
Which is something I appreciate because it gave it more depth.
Agreed.
It made it feel like there was more substance in the story versus, I don't know which dick I want to go with.
True.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
cool.
just me.
Okay.
But, book, game, TV show, etc. I'd like to become more of a fan of. I'd actually like to know more about Battlestar Galactica. I don't know much about that.
Oh.
Warhammer 40k, I'd like to know a little more about, because that is a clusterfuck of a universe that I want to know
I've
more
never
about.
heard of that. I heard of Warhammer, I didn't know the 40k thing.
And then, anime in general. I know some animes. I know some mangas. But I can never say I was a big fan of it,
They're
but I'd like to know more.
Mangas?
Shut up.
Manga.
And the anines. Okay.
Nice.
That's how they're called in Japan.
What?
And this is the public service announcement by stereotypical white girl.
That's another story for the whole Japan thing. That's another story for another time.
And Chronicle of Riddick, because there's so much more that is there that you don't get from the movies.
He stabbed a dude with a teacup.
He did.
Jesus.
Right in the
did?
heart. It was
Yep.
beautiful.
Stabby rip, stab, stab, and then a
Wow.
spalt of tea. What?
And then universes I'd like to learn more about that I'm already kind of into. I'd like to know more about the D&D universe.
which we do play. All 4 of us have at least played once.
Yeah, we roll for initiative.
And the
Did you
Firefly.
just break your quill? Oh.
Soti's been in the corner transcribing this with quill and ink. So if you look for that in your nearest Gutenberg Bible.
Oh my god. I like quill and ink.
That's fine. I like Quilladin, and that's a Pokemon.
Alright, go ahead, Tyler.
And so it's begun.
But yeah, in the Firefly universe, just because it has such a unique blend of sci-fi and western that you don't ever see.
Yeah.
Like, you might see it in some anime, like Fist of the North Star, if anyone knows what that is.
You're already dead.
They kind of tried to do it, or like Trigun, or Cowboy Bebop.
What was this?
A mix of like western kind of feel to sci-fi.
Essentially space cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboy
You know,
Bebop is
Cowboy
probably
Bebop.
the closest
Bebop.
friend.
Bebop.
Bebop.
Bebop tried. I feel like they definitely went with the stronger sci-fi aspect, and then Trigun, I feel like they went stronger with like the western kind of feel.
Definitely.
But
I've
Firefly
never tried
is literally right down the fucking
Yeah,
middle.
it's a really cool balance. Like the things that they like.
If you've never seen Firefly, check it out.
Please
Fox
do,
can bring it
because
back.
it's so good.
There's no
And
way
it's
it would
not
come
a
back.
big commitment.
They could change
because
some of
it's
the
only, like,
characters. Tell a different story in the same
I'm
universe.
not saying they couldn't. I'm just saying.
And
it'll
it's not.
never come
And
back.
guess what, guys? It's not a big commitment because it was only like 10 freaking episodes.
And a movie.
Right.
Still bitter.
Huh, today's hashtag, because I'm going to start that. We're going to have a hashtag now. Hashtag still bitter. Use the hashtag still bitter as
Hashtag
well
still
as
bitter.
hashtag METACUBE and tweet us at we don't have a Twitter.
We don't have a Twitter.
But we might get one and somebody else can do it because I've
Within
been
the
on
next-
Twitter
We'll
like
see, because I
twice.
don't like Twitter.
We'll tweet on our
Actually,
Insta faces.
Twitter's been a thing for years. It's now, 2018. I just started one last week.
Did you
Oh.
really?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've had one
Only
since
for
the
news
beginning.
purposes.
Yeah, literally the only reason I have it is so if, like, the Department of Homeland Security says, hey, by the way, there's a hurricane plowing into your city.
You're all gonna
Oh.
die.
Yeah, there you
No,
go.
no, no.
Or there's an E. coli outbreak.
The
I know how
Department
to
of
get my
Homeland
daughter.
Security tweets out Fist of the North Star with a hurricane and just says, you're already dead. Because if the hurricane is like punching through your town and then they tweet it out, they wasted a precious opportunity. But yeah,
Right.
so
So yeah, that's the 4 of us, just to get to know us a little better. Okay, so our next segment that we're gonna do is called Face Value Fights. 2 of us each pick a character from any fandom and have them face off against each other. This is going to be without any research done beforehand, so it's strictly off of your knowledge of that character in that time. And then the other 2 of us will essentially judge and pick on a winner. They each get 1 minute. This first segment that we're gonna do, it's gonna be Sean versus Tyler. So Sean, who's your?
my very first face value fights. I don't know. I might do like a sound thing later. It's fine. My very first face value fights. I'm gonna go with Captain Rex from the Star Wars: The Clone Wars series. Figure he's an inaugural starting point. I'm also gonna write that down so that I know that I've already used him.
And then Tyler, who will you be using?
I'm going to use Malcolm from Firefly.
Okay.
All right. So give me 1 second to on this day kind of thing in our notes here. What's today?
The 11th.
The 11th. Oh, it's 11/11. Make a wish. Did the baby just say shit? I'd like to point
Keep
out
that.
we're keeping this.
Alright, so our first face value fights will be Captain Rex from the Clone Wars versus Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly.
All right, buddy. So
Alright, hold up.
wait, no,
Timer
well,
started?
hang on, because we each get 1 minute, but we have to see who goes first, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Who's gonna
How
make
we
the
wanna
first
do
impression?
this?
So we'll do rock paper scissors. You'll have to just believe us when we say what we are.
Okay.
All right, rock paper scissors shoot. Rock paper scissors shoot. Crap. All right, you want to go first or last?
Second.
All right, want to go second. 60 seconds on the clock. Soti.
For integrity's sake, put your phone up on the table so
Ah,
that we know that
crap.
nobody
No
will cheat and look
no
at their
research
phones.
at all.
Tyler, is your phone already on there?
60
Yeah.
seconds on the clock.
60 seconds on the clock.
And-
on your mark.
Get set. Slither hiss. Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
God.
All right, so let's talk about this first ever fight. Let's talk Captain Rex. All right, Captain Rex is Anakin's right-hand man in the Clone Wars. He was established by George Lucas as being just an absolute badass. first things first, you got your standard, stormtrooper gear. He's got armor that can repel blaster fire. He's got sensors in his helmets. He's been given the rank of captain, so he has a little bit more armor. His pistols, which he frequently dual wields, are, of course, Empire grade. Rapid fire, you don't need to reload them at any time. Alright, but let's talk more again about his cunning, alright? Captain Rex has been with Anakin, who is known for being a very unorthodox Jedi. So he had to think on the fly all the time. Alright, so you've got to think, Captain Rex, Anakin Skywalker, he learned a lot of Jedi mind tricks and cunning. He was able to adapt to every situation. I think Captain Rex is absolutely going to blow Malcolm out of the water.
Hey!
How about that for
Very
timing?
nice.
Alright, buddy.
Very good.
So let's see how Mal does. Phone is on the table. I'll tap it so that you know. Alright, 1 minute on the clock. Ready, fight!
Alright, so Captain Rex may be very cunning. And he may have his nice little plastic armor. And, sure, he's Anakin's friend. They're cool, whatever. But Mal captains a ship of bandits, essentially. He fought for the Browncoats. He led a rebellion against one of the most tyrannical governments known in any sci-fi genre. And they almost won. They didn't, of course, life sucks. But
Spoilers.
he led them. And then he leads his crew. Now, they have crappy luck now and then. But at the same time, they have never lost a crew member. How many men has Rex lost? And
You've got 6 seconds, so...
anyways, that's why I think Mel's better.
Alright, and 2, 1, play that funky music.
White.
Alright, excellent. So one thing that I wanted to add on, I had started the idea of the face value fights. I want to have a 15-second rebuttal for each of us afterwards, because obviously now we're able to respond and react. I want that first minute for each of us to be just simply, we're talking about
Like
our
establishment
character, and
of
then
character.
we can respond to certain things that they say. So let's just have somebody, we're going to drop it 15 seconds here. Alright, on your mark, I'll start my rebuttal.
Alright.
Ready?
Ready?
Steady?
Plastic armor? Really? Are you sure about this? Alright, yeah, sure. He's leading a bunch of bandits, alright? Yes, he has prior military, whatever, but he's been running a bandit life while Rex continued to be a militaristic genius even past the Clone Wars.
Alright.
Alright, so let's go ahead and hit up a rebuttal for you, sir.
And go.
And while Rex was, distinguished military career, when it switched over from the Republic, he ran with his tail tucked between his legs.
Ooh.
He hid from the Empire. Mal never hid. I'm done.
Oh! Oh! Shit! What?
I'd like to point out as one extra second, I haven't seen Star Wars Rebels yet, but I heard Rex is in it.
He is.
So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Oh no, it's a cool episode.
Like, I really want to see it. So, that has nothing to do, it can't obviously sway your opinions, but I've heard that he's in Rebels. I haven't seen it yet. I want to see my boy Rex, because, I'm sorry, man, he was my favorite character.
No, he was a great
He was
character.
my favorite in that series.
Oh, yeah,
That
no,
was
he's
good, guys.
So,
I
damn.
like that.
Yeah, not bad, right? So, ladies, it is up to you two now to make your decisions between, remember, by the way, no bias. So if one of your, if it's your favorite fandom, whatever, take into account only what we've said.
Okay.
Suzy, why don't you start? What are you thinking?
This is like a really close call.
I
Because I
know.
like both
I
characters.
was gonna say the same.
I absolutely, but based on argument alone, I'm gonna have to go with Malcolm. On argument alone, I mean, he's a badass. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
So you're going off the argument versus whether or not they'd actually win in a fight.
As far as actually winning in a fight, I'm gonna have to say, I mean, both live in like a volatile, ever-changing moment. I mean, yeah, you have Rex with Anakin, who is just volatile at its highest. Darth Vader, spoiler alert. And then you have, but you have Rex with just Anakin, and then you have Mal with a crew of like, what, 5 misfits? 7 on a bad day.
Yeah.
Half the time he tells most of them to get off his ship,
Yeah.
and they stay anyway. Like,
Alright. Well, that's fine.
I'm gonna have to go with Malcolm on this one.
I was gonna say it was also a close call for me, and I almost went with Captain Rex. I don't know a lot about Captain Rex, so there's a lot that I don't know as far as that is concerned, because I don't know a lot about the Clone Wars.
They suck.
Which is why he was so battle hardened. Just saying.
Already past the point of time,
But
though.
That's fine.
I think I'm going with Malcolm Reynolds because of the fact that he does never hide, and he is just badass. And I love him.
No, it's
You
fine.
fought the
It's
good
fine.
fight, baby.
It's fine. Y'all bunch of pussies. I'm kidding.
You're listening to the METACUBE. All fandoms, all genres, all the time.